you feeling? Because I gather you're doing a sort of whistle-stop tour of about 400 countries in 3 days.
Yeah, a huge European promotion schedule. I've already done Paris and I've just got back from Amsterdam yesterday. I'm flying to Hamburg tonight, and then in between now and the end of May I'm just going to visit just about every European country that exists.
The schedule. Do you ever literally get to the state where you just don't know where you are and
yeah,
you have
sometimes.
to look all around for clues?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Oh, tulips, right, Amsterdam. Yeah, it sometimes gets really sort of confusing.
I suppose it's the flip side that when you first started in the business, nobody really told you about. You thought, well, I'll make a record,
yeah,
do a show,
yeah,
and then you're told about this. Is it a real headache?
Initially, when I was signed to Rat Records, I remember Mickey Mouse turned around to me and he said, "Oh, you're going to Germany next week." I said, "Why?" He said, "What do you mean, why?" He said, "It's a great market, you're selling loads of records." And I never realised that you really sold records anywhere else apart from the UK. I was sort of very blinkered. And now I have a terrific career in Europe. It's very, very strong. In fact, it's my career in Europe over the years that has built up that actually was a big factor in me getting the Michael Jackson tour in Europe.
Yeah, I must admit, in Britain, for obvious reasons, we are blinkered. We don't know precisely what happens in Italy, Germany and France.
But I guess it's the same there. I mean, I think all countries are fairly blinkered about their...
But is Britain still, and we know America's important, that's obvious, but is Britain still very important in the pop business? I mean, do France, Germany, Holland, so on, look up to us?
They do, but France actually has a really healthy local, national music scene. It's really good and it's very strong, and Germany tends to follow us more, and the Scandinavian countries too. But they have their own little quirks, you know, they have their definite characters, which it's really nice. It's lovely to see that.
Do you ever get, I mean, are the shows themselves that you appear on, are they ever confusing? I mean, people talking in strange languages, asking you questions that you can't understand, or what?
Mostly they talk to me in English, you know, because they're so clever these days.
It's humiliating, isn't it?
Yeah, they really are. They're very on top of the English language, you know, and they sort of put us all to shame.
Yeah.
But the French normally speak to me in French because I can speak a little bit of French.
Can you? A little.
Absolument. So
Yeah.
I try and show off and usually get myself in deep water, you know, because I speak to them in French. They say, aha, I talk to her in French, and then they like babble on, and I go,
Yes, that's right.
could you just say that again in English?
I'm the same, I'm a poser. Brilliant for 15 seconds,
Exactly.
then they think you speak fluently.
Yeah, exactly. All my sort of complete vocabulary comes out in a few moments, and blinds and...
Yeah. Well, look, it's what time is it? It's 7:20. You are in Britain.
Sure.
You're in...
I know that.
You're speaking to Britain at the moment. We're going to hear your record. It's
Good.
here very shortly, so just sit back and relax. Get rid of the jet lag. Get rid of the jet lag.
You're supposed to be used to this morning stuff.
You never get used to it, do you? Not when your brain's been removed.
Hello, welcome back. And today's top story. Mrs Thatcher is expected to face questions in the Commons today.
Hello.
You had a nice refreshing coffee or orange juice or something?
Yeah, nice egg, actually.
Egg?
Yes.
We're not. Are we supposed to say that sort of thing nowadays? Are we all into...
Oh, I don't know. I had one. It was very
Yeah,
nice.
I like eggs too. So there we are.
It was lovely.
We were saying earlier on, we're not trying to make you sound like a veteran, but you've been in the business, what, 10... How long have you been in it?
Nearly
roughly?
10 years.
First of all, how do you think the business has changed? Then how do you think you've changed? How do you think the business has changed in those years?
How's the business changed? Wow.
More computerised, more predictable? Or?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, technology has advanced amazingly from what we used to work on, and for what we're working on now, it's completely changed. And the great thing about the technology's part of it is it's become so accessible to everybody because it's become so cheap. When we started working with it, it was very expensive. Synclaviers and things were like astronomical. And now really people can get, you know, a decent little setup and make the same kind of music, similar kind of effects that we were using then for a few £100.
So it's not quite so daunting then?
I think that's why we've got such a lot of, you know, different kind of stuff in the charts at the moment. A lot of new bands coming out, new ideas, a lot of house and rap and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really good, actually.
That's good. You think the charts are good now because you meet a lot of people who say that they've never been more depressing, but you think it's on the turn.
I think it's great. I like seeing a whole load of young, new people doing stuff, you know, rather than the old school. So I don't mind the old school because I'm rapidly approaching it myself, but I think it's really good that the charts reflect what young people want, you know.
But supposing Marty Wilde made a comeback?
Well, I mean, there's room for all of us, really, you know, and who knows?
You'd have to teach your dad about ringcraft now, wouldn't you, stagecraft?
No, that's one thing I could never teach my dad. He's excellent.
He knows the business. Now, the second part of the first question was, how have you changed? How do you think you've changed? Are you more at peace with the world?
not with the world. I'm not at peace with the world at all, but I'm more at peace with myself. I you know, gradually over the years, I've just gained more confidence by becoming a songwriter and having hits and just doing all the things that I thought I couldn't do at the beginning of it, and all the things I'm doing now. So I mean, that gives you a certain amount of self-esteem, which was missing really at the beginning of my career.
There was a time, wasn't there, Kim, when you resented what appeared to you to be intrusions into your private life, and yet that at the same time was the penalty you paid for who you were.
Yeah, it's paradoxical, really. I mean, it's just something I've had to try and balance, and I think everybody does. No one really likes to be intruded upon, and some of us more or less than others, you know. I'm kind of veering in the middle, because I do quite like talking about myself. As well.
You do?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I thought you were a shy person.
Well, yeah, I am quite shy, but sometimes, you know, if you have something good in your life, you do want to share it.
What's good in your life?
My new album.
Oh, come on, you do better than that.
Oh, yeah, well, a new single.
New single, yeah.
No, life generally is rather nice at the moment. Yeah.
Well, I'll try mentioning this, and you slap my face. You've been going out with the same chap, haven't you, for some time now?
Oh, yeah, Calvin, yeah.
Calvin. And this has given you what, stability?
It probably has, yeah.
So do you, if you establish personal stability, can you then get tough about, say, any stories you don't like or any intruders you don't like? Have you reached the age of toughness where you can just shrug it all off?
We're certainly more discriminate about what we do now. You know, we do say, no, we won't do this, or no, we won't do that, and yes, we will do this. And these are the conditions under which I will work. And we've always sort of done that to a degree, but now I think more than ever we're very tough on it. We're not unfair. You know, I do talk to the press, and I'll do all kinds of things, and get up at 6 in the morning and talk to you. And but you know, just become more choosy. You know.
We're going to see It's Here now. Tell us
Right.
just very briefly, Kim, what It's Here is all about. What story does it tell?
It's Here is a song that I wrote with my brother a few months ago, and it kind of sums up how I really feel about myself, and I think you'd just better listen to the words because I can't really describe it. But it's a very positive song.
Okay, then let's have a look at the video for Kim's latest single. It's called It's Here.